Welcome to Success Talks with Rodney Saulsberry. I hope you will support my sponsors who bring you this podcast absolutely free and with limited interruptions. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I'll get started in just a second.
The reviews are in. The book from voiceover superstar and coach Rodney Saulsberry is another runaway hit. Readers from all over the world are raving about tongue twisters and vocal warm-ups. You can find this and his other titles at the top of the voiceover bestsellers list on Amazon.com.
Voiceover home recording specs and tips. In this lesson, I'm going to discuss the equipment required and the general practices surrounding recording from home. Now, a lot of what I'm going to talk about comes from a group in Marina Del Rey, California. They're called Side LA, and they specialize in home studios and equipment. Let's first talk about room specifications. You want to make sure that you get a good recording, and to get a good recording, the acoustic setup of the room is key. Ultimately, we need the room you are recording in to be as dead as possible. This means recording in space with as few acoustically reflective surfaces as possible. Carpets and soft furnishings can help with this. It is also preferable to be in a small space, like a walk-in closet. We want to be in a small place rather than a large open space, all right? The room has to be quiet. It has to be as quiet as possible with a low amount of background noise. And it needs to be isolated from outside traffic. You want the room to be located away from high traffic areas, okay, where you might hear feet, or you might hear a vehicle, and it needs to be away from anything that produces external noises, like the air conditioner or your heater or radio towers, and you certainly don't want to be by an airport. None of those things. You don't want to be near anything that makes noise. If we think about what I just said to you, you want it to be isolated from outside noises. That's number one. Number two, you want very low reverb time. The use of acoustic foam wall treatment is recommended. These are the foams that you put on your wall to make it acoustically sound. Number three, you want very low background noise. No air conditioners and no noises from outside or inside the premises. Number four, no unnecessary or unused objects or equipment in the room. You don't need your phone in the room. If you've got your phone in the room, make sure you cut it off. Fans, you don't want fans making noise. You don't want any type of equipment. TV monitors, make sure the TV is on mute. Any non-vital electronics should be removed or powered off. If you don't need that electronic device to record, it needs to be powered off. And number five, avoid any reflective surfaces. Anything that your voice bounces off of outside of some foam on the wall. You don't want any type of reflective surfaces. A lot of people like to set their laptop on glass, or they like to set it on a metal desk. All of these things are reflective. They reflect your voice, and you don't want any reflective surfaces.
Hello everyone, this is Sean Daly for dailyvo.com. I want to tell you about one resource I highly recommend for vocal warm-ups because it takes out all of the guesswork and it was purpose-built with voiceover in mind. It's called Rodney Saulsberry's Tongue Twisters and Vocal Warm-Ups with Other Vocal Care Tips. How's that for a title? So in case you don't know, Rodney Saulsberry is a top-tier talent and coach, motivational speaker, and author of several books on voice acting, including You Can Bank on Your Voice and Step Up to the Mic. The book is available in print and on Kindle, and you can find it at Amazon or Rodney's personal website, rodneysaulsberry.com.
Again, I highly recommend using acoustic panels on the walls, and the space needs to be small. And you want to make sure that you have a reflection filter around your microphone, right? You want to have something like a pop filter or this thing called the eyeball. Some of you may know about that. Look it up. It's eyeball. And it's E-Y-E, ball. And it's black and it has a blue front. And you put that over your microphone, and it's great. It really helps you acoustically. Are you looking for expert advice on advancing your voiceover career? Are you just getting started in the business? Join the Consultants Club and receive monthly coaching on how to read scripts, interpret copy, and get work in the fastest growing business in the world. when you join the Consultants Club. Go to rodneysaulsberry.com and sign up. Now, if you have a situation where financially you're not ready or you don't have a space that is perfect, where it isn't possible to acquire and set up all those things that I talk about, you can do some smaller things. You can use what you can to soften the space as much as possible. You can hang blankets. You can cover hard floors with blankets. In a larger room, placing yourself away from the walls with a large blanket hung directly behind you, you can definitely get an acoustic sound that can work. Whatever you do, try to face a corner of the room rather than directly facing or parallel to a wall. So the more acoustic treatment that you put up, the better. Now, when you set yourself up, some of you will be working with PC and some of you will be working with Macs. They're both fine. You're going to need your computer, a PC or a Mac. You're going to need a microphone, and maybe you will need an audio interface if you have a microphone that needs to be hooked up to an audio interface. You need some headphones, and you need a mic stand. So it's not a whole lot of equipment. And today you can get some great deals on equipment. And we'll be back after this message. Baby, come give me something. You Can Bank on Your Voice, 2nd edition. Get your copy at Amazon.com. Get the audiobook on Audible.com. You Can Bank on Your Voice, 2nd edition. Get your copy today. I know that high-end studio microphones can be very expensive, but you could get a USB mic, and USB mics are very reasonable, and they're also pretty good. Some suggestions would be a Sennheiser MK4 Digital, a Rode NT USB mic, an Aston Origin mic, and a Rode NT2 mic. That's Rode NT2. Now, when you hook these mics up, the mics that need to be hooked up to an interface, you hook them up to an interface. And the mics that have to have a USB connection, you plug those mics into the USB port on your computer. And so here are the 5 things that you will need in the microphone area. First of all, you need a mic, okay? Pick your mic. You need a mic stand. Then you need a mic cradle. Usually the mic that you buy will come with a cradle. If you do have to buy one, make sure it's compatible to your microphone. Then you need a pop shield. I talked about that earlier, the pop filter or the eyeball. Then you need an Xlr cable. Xlr cable. What is this for? This goes in the microphone. If it's an analog microphone, that's analog, analog. It goes from the microphone into the audio interface. Okay? So if it's a USB mic, it plugs right into the computer. If it's an analog mic, you have to have an interface, and to connect the two, you need a Xlr cable. And then, of course, you need some headphones. I like the Sony Professionals, but there are a whole lot of great headphones out there. Again, go on the internet, do your research, do your due diligence. Okay, mic stand, number 1. Mic cradle, number 2. Number 3, pop shield. Number 4, Xlr cable. And number 5, headphone. And you need to get what works better for you and your room. We talk about mic stands. People like to stand up, but perhaps you're someone who likes to sit down. I know, for instance, in my office, I have a desk stand for my microphone. So I have a stand-up mic. I also have a desk stand mic. I have it all. And in your voiceover career, you'll probably have it all too. Now, if you think you need professional help, you need to give someone a call. Don't try to do it all by yourself if you don't think you can. Even if you feel confident, sometimes it's better to call a professional or do your research on the internet, watch YouTube videos, do something to help you set up your equipment. And we'll be back after this message. Has anyone ever said to you that you have a nice voice and you should get into voiceovers? Well, this is your chance to find out how to do that online in Rodney Saulsberry's Voiceover online seminar for beginners only. You can find out what it takes to be a voiceover artist. And here's the beauty of this online seminar. You don't have to be there. When you register, you will automatically get a copy of the seminar. Go to my website at rodneysaulsberry.com and sign. When you get into the studio and you're ready to record, you need to make sure that you place yourself somewhere between 10 or 12 inches from the microphone, with the microphone positioned towards your mouth. And you want to speak off axis. Now, when I talk about speaking off axis, axis, A-X-I-S, I want you to do this so that you can avoid plosives. Do you know what plosives are? That's when you're popping your P's or your T's, p, p, or t. Okay, you want to avoid that. And you do that by standing 10 to 12 inches back and by having your pop filters on the microphone. Now, if you want to ensure a consistency in your sound, I don't care how much off-axis you work, you want to make sure that your mouth is always facing towards the microphone. You want your mouth to always face towards the microphone. And that way you won't have any inconsistency in your sound. Your sound will be consistent if you make sure that you're speaking towards the microphone. At the end of your recording, it's important for you to know how to make an MP3, a WAV file, and that you have the ability to get your MP3 or your WAV file to the client. If you do the things that we have talked about in this lesson and more, the chances of you having a good recording will improve exponentially, which will also make you the best voiceover artist that you can be.
You can listen to any of Rodney's podcasts at any time. Go to RodneySaulsberry.com.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I urge you to listen to future podcasts where I will continue to try and make you better than before. My goal is to point you in a positive direction to success, right here on Success Talks with me, Rodney Saulsberry.